We are talking about the debate from last night, but we're not going to talk about what they said.
No, we've heard enough of that already. Right now, instead, we're going to talk about some of the emotional expression that was going on, because here to analyze Trump and Clinton this morning is Ohio State professor Gleb Tsipursky. We've talked before. We've analyzed each of the debates. Let's start with a clip from last night. This is where Donald Trump is actually talking about Democratic views about abortion. Take a listen.
Okay.
I think it's terrible. If you go with what Hillary is saying, in the 9th month, you can take the baby and rip the baby out of the womb of the mother just prior to the birth of the baby. Now, you can say that that's okay, and Hillary can say that that's okay, but it's not okay with me.
All right, Gleb, what did you get from that?
Wow.
So that's a powerful statement. And one of the things that's really important to recognize is that we as human beings are much more influenced by emotions and emotional expression than we tend to think we are. So for example, we have two systems of thinking, the rational system and the emotional system. The emotional system comprises about actually 70 to 80% of what we hear.
Really?
And the emotional system is very much influenced by the way things are said.
Okay.
So when he uses terms like rip the baby out of the belly of the mother, that's visual language, strong visual language. You can have that visual appearance in your head. Whereas if he described it in more neutral terms, it wouldn't be nearly as moving.
Do you think that's the way he speaks, or do you think that that was very well thought out, well planned prose?
I think it was very well thought out prose.
Okay.
We'll take a look at another clip in the debate where he wasn't thinking as thoroughly about what he was saying, but this was well planned out. This was something he intended to say, and it appeals to our emotions very powerfully.
Interesting. All right, we have another clip we want to look at too. In this next clip, Trump told off Clinton, saying Russian President Vladimir Putin doesn't respect her. Clinton shot back. Let's take a watch.
Because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit that the Russians have engaged in cyber attacks against the United States of America, that you encouraged espionage against our people, that you are willing to spout the Putin line, sign up for his wish list, break up NATO, do whatever he wants to do, and that you continue to get help from him because he has a very clear favorite in this race.
So she was coming, they were both coming through pretty strong there. What do you take away from that?
So I want in this one to specifically take a look at and notice Clinton's body language. So when she was using the hand gesturing, in previous debates, she wasn't doing that so much. This is a gesture she was kind of borrowing from Trump. Trump frequently uses this hand gesture, much more than Clinton does. So she's taking something that Trump uses and trying to appeal subliminally to some of his audience by using this gesture.
Interesting.
At the same time, that's one thing. At the same time, she's using what's commonly known as the horns effect. So this is a cognitive bias, a thinking error, where we tend to associate something bad when we think about something bad. We tend to associate it with another thing that's bad. So a common thing you'll hear is, that person is like Hitler. That person is like Hitler. We think of Hitler as bad, so we associate that person with something bad.
Make the association.
Exactly. Right. So then the puppet association with Trump, and that's an association that Clinton is trying to make for us.
Here's another clip this morning. In this one, Donald Trump says he has respect for women.
Mr. Trump.
Nobody has more respect for women than I do. Nobody.
That is
okay,
not supposed to be there.
That wasn't supposed to be there. Yeah, but there were laughs from the audience at that point. So what was happening there?
So here, this is an interesting example where Trump did not think through his language nearly as well as he could have.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So this was, we can connect it back to that first one. And something that wasn't played here, but there was laughter from the audience. And there's a phenomenon, another cognitive bias called empathy gap, where people don't recognize the strength of feeling in other people. So Trump doesn't recognize the strength of feeling among many women that the language he used about women, the body gestures, the tones, comes off badly to them. And so he didn't recognize that when he used such wording, which is why he got the laughs from the audience.
Interesting. All right, this next clip here. Hillary Clinton slams Donald Trump over his claims that the election is being rigged. Let's watch.
You in suspense.
Well,
okay?
Chris, let me respond to that because that's horrifying. You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him. There was even a time when he didn't get an Emmy for his TV program 3 years in a row, and he started tweeting that the Emmys were rigged against him.
Should have gotten it.
This is a mindset. This is how Donald thinks. And it's funny, but it's also really troubling.
Okay.
You know, that is not the way our democracy works. We've been around for 240 years. We've had free and fair elections. We've accepted the outcomes when we may not have liked them. And that is what must be expected of anyone standing on a debate stage during a general election. You know, President Obama said the other day, when you're whining before the game is even finished.
All right, let's get into that. She was pointing again. Is that part of what we're looking at?
Yes, we are. So she was again using that gesture, trying to get to us subliminally and trying to get to Trump's audience subliminally, the people who like Trump's gesturing. I think that's one point. The other point, fascinating point, Trump was really triggered about the Emmy. So when he said, should have gotten that, you could see that Clinton really got to him, and she carefully and thoughtfully planted that phrase. That wasn't a casual throwaway phrase. Her team researched it, thoroughly examined what could be. There are a number of preparations. There's a number of reports in the media where her team was researching Trump and how they could fluster him, how they could sway him to not be very presidential on the stage. And she really got to him with that Emmy comment, and that was a powerful thing.
Well, thank you. Very interesting discussion. Appreciate it very much. We have to watch
Thanks,
what
Gleb.
the heck we do with our hands and
We're
stuff.
going to watch out for all of that.
Yes, exactly.
So, in other political news, a key Senate seat in Ohio is on the ballot. Senator Rob Portman versus former Governor Ted Strickland.
And the two will debate tonight. You can watch it on our digital channel 6.2. Ohio Counts. Race for the Senate is from 7 until 8 p.m. It's hosted by the City Club of Cleveland.
Coming up next, we're talking pumpkins.
We are, and a lot of food, apparently. We're going to check back in with Cameron Fontana. He is at the Circleville Pumpkin Show next.